What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nap Family Racing. So, as you guys saw, we parked it in Victory Lane last night. First time we've had the car out all year to be able to make a full show, and we went from 6th to 1st, won the whole dang thing. We did end up getting thrown out in tech, so we didn't get the money. But the way I see it, well, I'll tell you what I got thrown out for. The car is legal everywhere else, as far as I know. Everywhere that I've ran, and I've corroborated this with people who race all the way over in like the county line area. Everywhere else, as long as your rims are the same size on all four corners, you can create stagger with different tire sizes. So, for instance, my left front is a 195 60 15. My left rear is a 205 60 15. Right rear is a 205 65, and the right front is a 205 65. All 15s. So the difference in my tire size is minuscule. Really, the left sides are just either shorter or skinnier by like one step down. Well, this track has their own individual rules, and their rule is that you have to have match set tires. All tires have to be the same on all four corners. Shame on me for not reading the rule book. Do I think that having match set tires on would have made the car any slower? No, I still think that we would have won. The car was just too hooked up, and we were on a tear. The car ran impeccable. I feel like I did a really good job in the seat as well to get us into the positions that we were in, and I don't believe that having matched tires would have changed that. Now, if I would have showed up with a big motor or bad gas or something blatantly cheated up, I'd understand. But I'm kind of struggling with the sportsmanship side and like the racer's blood side. The racer's blood is, if they can keep the money, I got the win. Like, I went out there and I beat everybody who they brought. And this is the first night in the car, first time at the track, first time even seeing the track, and we went out there and we put it on. That's the racer's blood side. And, with that comes like, the harder you make it for a team to show up and race your track, the less likely that team's going to want to come race your track. So if everywhere else has, this sanctioning body set of rules, and then they have to change their setup or buy different things to come run your track, racing's expensive as it is. It doesn't need to be more expensive just to come race your track. But the sportsmanship side, which is the side that I'm really trying to lean into, is rules are rules. And shame on me. I had match set tires. They would have all been 195s, so smaller tires, I would have went faster. But I had match set. I didn't read the rule book. I talked to the tech man before we even hot lapped, and I was like, hey, what's your guys' tech process going to look like for this class? And he said, as long as nobody protests, roll across the scales and we're good. Evidently, I guess the second place car protested to check our tire sizes, and me in the third place car and I think a couple other people got thrown out for not having match set tires. So, shame on me for not reading the rules. Rules are rules, and without them, it's chaos. And I get it. I don't fault the guy who finished second place who backed into a win due to a technicality. I don't. Congratulations to him. I don't fault the track for following their rule book. I don't fault the promoter or the owner for me getting tossed. It's just we were illegal and we got caught. We didn't know we were illegal. It's not like we were trying to cheat anybody out of anything. It does stink though. And instead of, showing up and winning that $200, we got a thanks for coming, which does stink. But I mean, as far as what the fans in the stands saw, they saw the 94 car pass everything that was in front of it and go on and take the checkered flag. So, kind of in my book, it's gonna be they can keep the money, I'm gonna keep the win type deal. And I said as much in the tech barn over at the scales, and I actually walked over and grabbed the feature winner thing and had my buddy Walker take a picture of me with the feature winner next to the car. And the tech man thought it was funny. He walked over and he actually tucked the window net in so you make sure you could see the number on the car. He said, "Here, this will help make your picture look pretty." So I think that they kind of understood that it was, out of everything that somebody could be thrown out for, something like that is probably one of the silliest things you get thrown out for. But I mean, like I said, we were illegal, whether we knew it or not, and I promise you we didn't. Just shame on me for not reading the rules. And then, we got caught. That's the way it goes. But the car ran great. Like I said, I feel like I did a really good job in the seat. And I had people come up to me after the race and thank me for racing them clean and, etc. So I feel like we went out there and we made a statement. And it's a statement that I think myself and other people may have kind of already known that we were going to make if we got the car to a place where we could make that statement. And that was that, this car is fast. I can drive. And, we set it up for a deadly combination. Had the car set on kill, and we went out there and we did what we showed up to do. Actually, we exceeded what we showed up to do, because we showed up to take every green flag that they dropped and then drive under the checkered flag, and we just happened to drive under the checkered flag before anybody else did. So that was a huge accomplishment. But like I said, I'm never going to be the person who's going to track bash and, jump up and down on the tech people and the owners and promoters of tracks, because without them, we don't have anywhere to race. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's their facility, it's their rules. So it stinks on one hand, but on the other hand, we're not running for points. Like we were just going out there to help the track. It's our opening night. It's the first time that this track's been open since 2021, maybe. And we wanted to help the car count. So we went out there and we're like, we'll check out a new track to us. It's a real tiny track. I've never been on a track that small. And so we went out there to kind of help them make sure that their opening night had it, even if the front wheel drive cars were the only cars that showed up, we were going to make sure that they had enough cars to put on a good show. And we just wanted to get a good race in. I thought this was going to be our best chance to go out there and be really competitive and put on a good show, and I feel like we did that. So without it being like, if we were points chasing, I'd probably be a little bit more upset, but we're not chasing points. We went out there to have fun and race and get a win if we got lucky, and we did all those things. We just didn't get paid for it. So, but all in all, the facility, it's a nice facility. I think that there could certainly be some improvements made, and I'm confident that the people who are in charge over there or have a say over there probably got some good notes from last night. I mean, it's an opening night, so it's kind of a baptized by fire type deal. So I think the next time that they host an event out there, there will be some things that they're like, hey, this worked really good. This didn't really work that well, so we might need to find something different to do here. I think that it'll continue to improve, but as far as just like blank piece of paper, the track was awesome. Their track work was really good. The track came in perfect. I don't know how it was for the bigger cars with the wider tires and stuff like that. I don't know how the track held up for them, obviously, because I wasn't out there or in those cars. But for us, being the first ones out there, like, there was a lot of moisture in the track at the beginning, and then it really kind of like the track settled in and became its own and started really coming to us. Anyways, from my seat, the track came in perfect about 8 to 9 laps in of the 20-lap feature, and that's really when we were starting to make a lot of moves, and the car was just digging. I felt like we were able to put it places where a lot of other people couldn't, whether that be just how I have the car set up or my driving style, or I don't know. But I felt like I was able to utilize, you know, the grip in the track a little bit better than anybody else. So that helped a bunch. All in all, it was a fun night. I had a good night. The program ran smooth. I think they could probably use a few more like extraction vehicles, things to help get cars that have been in incidents off the racetrack. They could probably use a couple more of those. But really, I don't have any complaints. Like it was a good night of racing. I hope that the fans enjoyed the show that they got. I hope, you know, the drivers who didn't end up, you know, wadded up, enjoyed the product that the track provided. I know I did. But you know, that's easy to be like, oh yeah, it was awesome time when you finish first. But I mean, it was a track where I was able to drive from 6th to 1st. With, I think there was only 2 or 3 cautions in the 20 laps. So we were able to make up a few spots on restarts, but other than that, like, the track was racy, and I think that's the most important part, is do you have a racy racetrack? And I think that they do. As far as anything that happened in the grandstand section, I don't know anything about it. I wasn't up there. Drivers meeting was put together well. I think it was a learning experience for everybody involved, track promoters, safety people, race director. I think everybody was kind of trying to figure out how they were going to conduct the race once it started, and they did the right thing. I mean, they took feedback from the drivers and like, hey, what do you guys like doing? And so I think that was a good step that they took. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any complaints. I think that I believe I can't remember the fellow's name, but the track owner, promoter, I think he did a fine job. Situationally, it stinks that we got thrown out, but we got the win. That's, at the end of the day, people's champ. You know, the support that I got from other drivers in the pits, and you know, other people who didn't even race in my division, who had heard about it through the grapevine, coming up telling me like, hey, you know, we don't like that either. You know, it doesn't change anything, but it feels good to know that like what we got caught with being wrong with the car isn't something that people are like upset with me about. Because if I got caught being unknowingly illegal, and then everybody in the pits was like, "Oh, you're a cheater, bad guy," that wouldn't have felt very good. But everybody was like, "Man, that's, you know, that stinks. Hate that." So I think that we did what we set out to accomplish, and that was let people know that KFR and this whole 94 were a bad fast combination when we got the chance to be, and you know, we're going to be somebody that you're going to have to show up and plan to beat. So, but we've got some panels to beat out. I might have to hook part of this thing up to a tree when they come along, or use the neighbor's track hoe. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to fix. When I got the right side caved in over here, it also broke the motor mount. So about halfway through the race, every time that I would get on the gas, or I mean I couldn't even shift gears, because when I would shift gears, the whole thing would just boom, boom. And then when you get on the gas, boom, boom, it felt like it was gonna fall out. And I was like, I've come too far. I've done too much. If this motor and transmission is gonna fall out of this car, it's gonna do it on the front stretch. And I just kept the hammer down. And thankfully it stayed in. And I mean, it carried us all the way to the front. So I keep wanting to say that I hate it, but I don't. I don't. It getting thrown out, as wild as it sounds, it doesn't mean that much to me. Like, it stinks that we didn't get the money that we won, because that would have certainly helped. But you people watching this right now could supplement that loss of income by hitting me up buying some stickers and all the other little knickknacks that I've got. But I mean, we were fast. We went out there and let them know. So I appreciate Team Savage and all the fellas who came out from over yonder, come out and race with me and help add to the car count. Some of them had better nights than others. I hate it for the ones that didn't have great nights. But it was really fun to hang out with those guys in the pits and getting to talk to them and meet them for the first time in person, and just getting to kind of hang out and goof around. All really great people. So with that, it's Mother's Day today, so happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. Thank you for everything that you guys do as far as raising us wild boys who like to go play in dirt circles on the weekends, and being supportive and loving us even though we're a little wonky sometimes in the brain. But you know, we love you guys, and we wouldn't be here without you. So we appreciate everything that all you mothers do, and you know, hope that you guys have a great day. With that being said, my wife is about to become a mother, so I think this is going to be a day where I'm not going to be able to work on this race car today, and we've got to go do a first official, unofficial Mother's Day type deal. Take her somewhere nice, make her feel pretty, and thank her for allowing me to go racing last night, and you know, dragging this race car all over the place. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate you guys watching.